Dr. Vinay.
Yes,
Madam,
welcome, sir.
what to you, madam, session?
Thank
You
you.
have break, madam. At 3:15, you have break. You can give 30 minutes break and you can continue for next session also, madam.
Okay.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashok sir. Thank you, madam.
All of you mute your audio. All the participants mute your audio.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ashok. That was a generous introduction. Thank you, Vinay. And today afternoon, in the first half of the afternoon session, I will be talking about stress and its management. And in the second half of the session, I will be linking emotional intelligence to effective leadership. Now, before I begin my session, am I both audible and visible to the audience? Can somebody unmute and say
Yes,
whether I am? Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, madam.
I will take it forward. Now, the pandemic has caused tension and complexities at workplace, which is in fact also adding on to the existing employee stress. Now, while stress is contemporary, its management is quintessential. In fact, stress can have a big impact on your body in ways that are felt by just you and in ways that the world can see. One of the more visible potential byproduct of stress is weight gain. I'm taking this up first because I have gained a lot of weight during this lockdown. See, many of us find ourselves to become, to becoming emotional eaters. See, whenever there is anxiety, there is stress, we tend to lay our hands on something, reaching out every time for something to eat. And often we eat the wrong thing. At the same time, stress can also create a loss of appetite, varying within individuals. Now, this can also be a problem as well. And the signs of physical stress, the signs of stress per se, can be of various types. Now, it can manifest in the form of physical stress, like tiredness, health hazards, pain, as I already told you, weight gain, lethargy, lack of sleep. It could manifest in the form of mental signs like disinterest, confusion, sadness. Behavioral signs can be demonstrated in the form of irritability, temperament, anger, frustration, aggression, or it could even be in the form of job stress. These signs could be in the form of absenteeism, accidents, committing a lot of errors, slowing down in terms of work. There could be a lot of anxiety built. And you see that the probable symptoms of stress could be, as I already told you, insomnia, that is loss of sleep, loss of mental concentration. Our focus may be lost. We will have a tendency to stay at home, tendency to lie, depression. There could be extreme anger, even at the slightest, difference. You invoke anger and aggression. So volatile you become. It can result in frustration. There could be family conflicts. You could have health issues like migraine, headaches. There could be back problems, so many of those like this. of stress could be the uncertainty ahead of us. We don't know. We may catch up with positive, catch up with COVID. Could be positive. Could be that we may be cured, we may not be cured. So much of uncertainty. We don't even know whether our lives are guaranteed. The enemy is invisible. And if these can be our immediate aspects of anxiety and stress, other things could be job insecurity. Today they are giving 50% salary. Many employers have chucked them out of their jobs. So, or there is that fear that today I may be here, tomorrow I may not. There could be stress because your employee has been demanding high performance from your end. Or it could be that you are not very fortunate to have a good nurturing boss. You may have a bad boss who could be breathing on your neck, highly closely supervising you and catching you by your collars. He may not be the kinds who could handhold, who would be handholding you. Or the reason could be that there is some kind of a workplace cultural incompatibility. Your values may vary with that of the organization's values and culture. Stress could be because of your personal problems or family problems. It can also be because of technology. For example, we are all on online work mode and we have an umpteen lot of connectivity issues. Or even if these problems are not there, the very technology that we are adopting, we may not be able to adapt to it. So these could be, and many more, could be causes of stress. I would like to drive your attention to two important concepts within stress. That is eustress versus distress. Now, what is eustress? See, eustress, in other words, is called as positive stress. That is, it is characterized by an internal motivation. Eustress motivates you. It helps you to channelize and focus your energy. It helps you to put to use your own potential, which is perceived as within you, to be able to cope with what is required. So you have your coping abilities, where you will have an opportunity to put it to use. Of course, eustress is a short-term, has a short-term impact. It makes you feel excited. You're looking forward for the next day. You look forward to, being present in office, impressing your boss with your work, making a presentation. I mean, where eustress actually provides you the platform for improved performance. So this positive stress, which we in other words call as eustress, EUSTRESS, results in what is called as progress. In contrast to this is distress, or the negative stress, which is characterized by one that causes anxiety or concern. Now, this distress can be either short-term or long-term, and it is perceived as outside of our coping abilities and makes you kind of feel unpleasant, insecure. It decreases your performance. It can lead to mental and physical problems. And negative stress results in loss of motivation, reduced effectiveness, and also can manifest in other forms of mental and behavioral problems. Now, the work-related stress can result in high levels of employee turnover, primarily because they may not be given an opportunity to be trained, updated, nurtured, or the fact that they are too bad that despite these efforts, you have to give them a golden handshake. So, so many kinds of, possibilities and avenues are there to help the employee, but there are also circumstances where these, because the employee demonstrates and displays stress which is beyond the employer's purview of management, they may actually ask them to say goodbye. Or the employee may be placed in such a situation where he himself may have to say goodbye. So employees experiencing stress are more likely to make poor decisions and commit casual errors. In fact, it will deteriorate workplace relationships. It will, create customer dissatisfaction, maybe because the customer service may actually be deteriorating. Now, what is required is, as employees, we all need to be prepared for change. Change is inevitable. To learn, you must change. To change, you must learn. So this is something that is permanent. Change is permanent. It is important that the employees find and protect their, find time to re-energize themselves, to refresh themselves, to re-motivate themselves, and engage in being proactive. It's important that if the employees are habituated to some form of habits, some form of bad habits, like alcohol or smoking or use of substance, these things need to be completely avoided. And employees must, there is no choice, they must develop positive attitudes towards stressful situations in life, because that is inevitable. Every one of us are facing one form of stress or the other. So that becomes a part of our very existence. We should accept it. At the same time, it's important that the employees are not complacent. So don't be complacent. And whenever an individual is under stress, it is good to sit straight, sit comfortably on a seat, try some breathing exercises, try some creative visualization. See, in the past, people used to say, don't dream, don't build castles in the air. Believe me, one of the techniques of trying to overcome, as a temporary, breakaway from stress is to dream, is to build a castle in the air. Doesn't matter, because that gives you a sense of joy, that takes you to another world, that that tries to give you an opportunity to realize something that you dream of, you ought to have, but you currently do not have. So such creative visualization can be very, very relaxing. So stress management needs to be ameliorated. It is the amelioration of stress, and especially chronic stress, that helps in improving your day-to-day functioning. In fact, stress produces numerous symptoms which vary according to persons, to situations, and to the severity of circumstances. And this could include physical health decline as well as mental health decline causing depression. Now, within this stress, the types of stress could be acute stress or chronic stress. Let me explain to you that acute stress is usually for a short time and maybe due to work pressure. It may be because you have to meet deadlines, pressure is mounting, you are unable to keep pace with time. Or there could have been a minor accident, or There could be overexertion on your part and you may not be in a position to deliver. It could be because of increased physical activity beyond your capability. Sometimes, we could have what do they call that? OCD, compulsive disorder. You're used to maintaining some kind of a discipline, keeping things in its place, and when you don't find something that you're looking for, you tend to get stressed. So this kind of a stress can actually show up in the form of tensions and headaches and back pains and all kinds of stomach problems. There could be a rapid heartbeat, there could be muscle aches, body pain. So this is acute stress. Then there is this chronic stress, a little dangerous one. Now this type of stress is most serious of all types of stress. Now the chronic stress is a prolonged stress. There, somewhere at the back, there is a prolonged stress that exists maybe for weeks, for months, or even years. Now this stress is due to poverty or broken or stressed families, marriage failures, chronic illness, because of various health issues, or it could also be because of successive failures, male in male failures. After that, people get into that depression. So people suffering from this type of stress get used to it as if this is an integral part of one's life, and may not even realize that they are undergoing the stress and that they need some kind of a assistance or counseling or some help. Now this can be very, very harmful to an individual's health. Now whenever our body feels something not favorable, then there is a automatically built-in mechanism where it tries to defend itself. Now in this situation, if this situation continues for a long time, where there is a lot of energy that is exerted in mediating between your comfort zones vis-a-vis your stress levels, then it can kind of be very worrisome, because under stress, when you are under stress, you are likely that your behavioral aspects can can percolate down. Your wife or spouse may be in fear why this person is behaving this way. Your parents will be put into distress. Your children, you're not able to have quality time with your children. You're irritant. So invariably, you see these kinds of behavioral problems at home and behavioral problems at office. That is, you have life at home and life at work. In both these places, when you have problems, this is cause for worry. Now, to this, you may absent yourself, resulting in loss of pay. And because of loss of pay, you have your financial distress. And the financial distress makes you go in for loans, and you're unable to repay. And, the chain is huge, resulting in one bad thing over the other. But the good outcome of managing stress in a very structured way would help you improve at your job, at your career, and at your confidence level. Less absenteeism would be there due to lesser stress-related disorders. Accidents could be less. There is improvement in job performance. There is a likelihood that you may get selected for training for higher positions, other more responsible job roles where there is job enrichment and job enlargement. And you will see that the less stressful your job appears to you, you become more efficient at your workplace. It also helps you to improve your attitude. The employee's attitude to work, money, colleagues, relationships, everything goes for a transformational change. People would love to have you in their company. People would love to accept you. See, managing stress is very important because it has a direct implications on your behavior. And then personally, you are it is beneficial to you because it improves your health. Now, stress has to be managed because it can potentially raise your heart rate. You don't know. It can weaken your immune system. Also, it can be a factor in your poor decision-making abilities. You may not be able to think logically or consider the consequences, pros and cons. You may not be able to do effectively, rationally, in order to make informed choices. In this situation, how do you relieve yourself from stress? You stop from your work by shallow breathing. Stop shallow breathing, take deep breaths, create the habit of taking deep breaths. That is a sigh of relief when you breathe, take in deep breath and then breathe out. As I already told you, have creative visualization. And another very important thing is, whenever you have the time, take time to make an introspection. It is important that you visualize and communicate your vision. You visualize and communicate your vision. Try to be cool. Take things easy. Laugh. Cut a joke. Tickle a child. Okay? Get yourself involved in lighter moments. And also, in order that you are out of stress, be alert. That means to say, be aware of the choices you make, because you always have a choice. Any decision, it is in your hands. Therefore, when you take a decision, don't go in for a decision that can bring more harm or stress to you. Be alert of the consequences and make your choice. And if you are an individual who has difficulty to say no, then the likelihood that you will be under stress is more. The first thing I remember as a child, what I learned was to say no. I have learned to say no first in my life and then learned to say yes. And probably when my child was very, very small, I was very, very concerned, because the child was a very soft-spoken child, and I was always worried that the world at large could take advantage of this little child if it did not learn to say no. Of course, my daughter is a grown-up child. She's a gynecologist back in London, and she's so assertive. I don't have to tell her that, yes, you must learn to say no. You all have to learn to say no. It is not important that we have to make everybody happy all the time. You cannot do everything that you are asked to do. If you dislike and you have a valid reason for it, then you must learn to say no, because that reduces your stress level. And one very effective way to overcome stress is to be thankful for whatever that you are blessed with. You are better than the best in many things. You are being endowed and bestowed, blessed with so many good things in life. Be thankful for it. This gives you a feeling of sufficiency, and therefore, you don't tend to be on the complaining mode all the time. All the time meaning that there is a deficiency in something, there is lacuna, there is you don't keep complaining. And then it's important See, some of us, like I am, for example, a typical type A personality, where I like to eat, speak, everything, and I like to do three things at a time, do a lot of multitasking. I'm very quick at eating, quick at walking, quick at expressing, and I cannot keep pace with anything that is slow. Now, what happens is, because for example, I'm a typical type A personality, I feel guilty to relax. The moment I feel I am unproductive, I'm utilizing my time unproductively, tension starts. Bekarar, because I feel I become restless because I feel I am not using my time productively. But one important and good technique to overcome stress is to do nothing. Yes, you are hearing me properly. Do nothing. Do nothing at all. Close the doors, open the window, take a seat, and take a break. Do think of what you like. If your mind is racing against time or racing against thoughts of odds that can rock your life, learn to meditate and just let the stress go away. Sometimes listening to music is a very good therapy of trying to overcome stress. Bhavagitegalu, ghazals, they're also soothing, that will help you to get out of stress. Also try this ABC strategy. That is, whenever you're in stress, try to identify what is it that is stressing you. So awareness, ABC, awareness. B is balance. Balance what? Balance the pros and cons, prospects and the consequences. And C is control. Take charge of the situation and regulate it the way you want it. This is called as the ABC technique to manage stress. So importantly, all of us, what we must understand is that we have one life and that we have to enjoy our life. Always remain happy, irrespective of what the odds come. But this is easier said than done, particularly in today's context. Now, as the COVID-19 pandemic and say its far-reaching implications continue to, unfold itself, maybe globally, within our own communities, it is normal for people to experience a wide range of thoughts, feelings, and reactions. See, for example, every morning there is whenever there is, in a WhatsApp group, somewhere if somebody shows their hands like this or Om Shanti, then, your heart starts beating. Yarappa, yaar tirkondidare, who has gone, what has happened? Okay? Those kinds of thoughts keep, troubling us. Or if there is a phone call at an odd hour, your heart starts beating. There is some kind of a race. You see, in the initial days of COVID, what used to happen is, once in a while, here and there, we would hear about deaths. Today, we are hearing about deaths from close friends and families. So many people whom we have known are not here. We could never have imagined. And these thoughts keep rocking us. So, how does it manifest? You start feeling stressed. You become overwhelmed. You start thinking too much. There's so much of anxiety, worry or fear. What if it is next me? What is this if it's my near core family? What if it's my friend circle, my peers, my students? It could be anything like that. So racing thoughts, trouble. Feelings of sadness, tearfulness because of helplessness. Loss of interest in particularly in those kinds of activities that you used to otherwise usually enjoy. Then physical symptoms such as, increased heart rate, stomach upset, fatigueness, uncomfortable sensations, frustrations. We become so volatile, so temperamental that even one small word here and there goes wrong. You're so irritated and you show up your tantrum, so much of angerness. And then there's a kind of restlessness, a lot of agitation within. That's because we feel helpless. There is difficulty in concentrating or sleeping. There is a feeling of disconnectedness from others. Unfortunately, we talk about social distancing, but I don't understand why, despite, we can still be socially connected through telephones and other means. But somehow this whole society's situation is such that disconnection is unknowingly happening. There's a lot of apprehension and skepticism about going to public places. There is a lot of trouble in even relaxing. What has happened is that these experiences are all very understandable in the face of the significant challenge that we are all facing. There has been loss of life. There has been rapid changes in our way of life. We had never thought, the way we study, the way we teach, the way we work, the kind of social interactions that are taking place, everything is being kind of disrupted. Disrupted plans are there even for travel. There are a lot of restrictions. There's so much of social distancing measures. All this in an effort to slow down the spread of transmission. People are naturally concerned for their own and their loved ones' health and safety. There is still so much of uncertainty. Now, it is very, very important here that we must recognize the seriousness of this public health challenge that is facing our community. And we must be mindful that reacting from a place of panic and fear is usually unhelpful. What happens, for example, if you are panicked, if there is a lot of anxiety within you, what will happen? Lot of steroids are released. Now, these steroids that unknowingly, you are not aware, you are not knowing, the steroids that gets released will reduce your immune system. And this has a long-term impact. It is not at all helpful for you, especially in the long run. Looking after our well-being in times like this can be helpful to reduce stress. It is crucial for us to enable ourselves to remain calm and effective in our actions. Otherwise, combating this global crisis would be a big, big, big challenge. Now, what are the strategies to cope with stress, anxiety, or distress? When many things feel uncertain, or when you feel that it is out of control, one of the most effective ways we can manage stress and anxiety is to focus on the actions that are in our control. What is within our control, focus on that. I'll give you some of those intentional steps that you can take in order to look after your physical and emotional well-being during these challenging times. First of all, learn how to protect yourself and others from this COVID. This is the year to safeguard yourself, the year to safeguard yourself, the year to live. This is the year where you have to invest in order to survive. So this is the year of survival. Opportunities are there, here, there, 100 opportunities, so many platforms for you. If you are an individual with comorbidities, please don't take the challenge of trying to make a little more extra bucks. You may never live to use those money. I may never live to use the extra money that I need. It is important that a lot of caution needs to be exercised in order to keep ourselves well. So, enough and more has been said for the last 6 to 8 months from the Department of Health and elsewhere. So many recommendations we've been listening, looking into WhatsApp. So many important actions have been, listed that we must do, the do's and don'ts, what is right and wrong to protect ourselves against infection and prevent the virus from spreading. It could be the form of practicing good hygiene in self-isolation and social distancing. Then it is very important to acknowledge your feelings. Nodi, yenagutte, many a times we don't acknowledge our feelings. We don't go to revisit ourselves and go to think what is going wrong. Whatever you are feeling right now, know that it is okay to feel that way. Are the others also feeling this way? Is it only me who's this is happening to? Or is this kind of a feeling of restlessness only with me? It is with everybody, and understand that it is okay to have these feelings. Acknowledge it. Allow yourself time to notice that this is happening to you and express what you are feeling with others. No harm, no wrong. Don't hide your difficulties from others. If I tell, what will people say about me? What is the kind of mockery they will do about me? Don't care. This happens. All kinds of things happen. Feelings come. Health goes upset. It is good to always express yourself. This could be done in various forms. I'll tell you. One is in the form of journaling, writing your feelings, expressing your feelings, opinionating. Secondly, talking with others, giving feedback, taking feedback, listening to information. Okay? And channelize your emotions into something that is creative. It could be in the form of drawing, painting, poetry, music. Get yourself engaged in an activity where there is some form of creative. Your mind is kept cool, calm, and where it is working on another course. Mindfulness meditation exercises is also very, very helpful to stay grounded. Now, particularly in the midst of emotional turmoil, you can learn also how to witness and see, and let your thoughts and feelings come and go in their own time. Yaudukku blockade, barricades happedi. There must be a free flow of thought, free flow of feelings, and you shouldn't be overwhelmed with this act. Try to maintain a day-to-day physical activity, which is routine, as much as possible. Having a healthy routine can have a positive impact on your thoughts and feelings. Go back to your basics. Eat healthy meals that can, particularly colorful food, greenery, radish, your carrots, your tomatoes, your cherry. All these things help you develop your immunity mechanism. Do physical exercises, walking, stretching, running, and cycling. See, despite the fact that I have put on weight and I've been, an emotional eater, as I told you in the beginning, I still don't give up on some of these physical exercises, only in order to keep my mind occupied. Also learn to get enough sleep and do things that you enjoy. You will never know how time flies when you do something that you enjoy. Even if you are, for example, in a quarantine or you're working from home, there are very many ways to develop new routines and still stay healthy. Now, during this time of change, it's natural for our minds to think of all the usual activities we may not be able to do at this point of time, at this moment. It is important that you make a conscious shift to focus on the activities we are still able to do now, or that we may have more opportunity to do now. Okay, being at home. Like some ideas, I'm just trying to tell you, we can't blame loneliness. We can't blame lockdown, because that has become as part of the day and we've got to live with it. How do we come out of this stress? See, what we are all teachers, and I told you, as teachers, we have to learn. And to learn, you must teach. To teach, you must learn. So this is an ongoing activity. So keep learning and maintaining your study. Just because, we are not regularly meeting the students offline on a one-to-one basis doesn't mean to say that we can keep away our books. Read a book, write reviews, listen to a podcast, try to develop new hobbies or skills. For example, during this lockdown period, during some self-quarantines that I've done, I have developed the habit of gardening. Adar gandane gotirlilla, on sosi nadiyaku nidakku bartirlilla. But then I have developed an interest in that. Today, I do everything from composting to kitchen gardening. I only do gardening that is useful to me, where I either have flowers or I have fruits. I don't go for show plants. That is a hobby that I have developed. You develop a hobby. Just because you're a man, it doesn't mean to say you mustn't cook. You can go to YouTube and then look into videos for cooking. Do. It is an exciting thing. Cook a new recipe. You play an instrument. Learn to play an instrument. Learn a new language. Learn how to even sew. Some of us women, it is very, very useful if you know how to sew. And then, of course, as I told you, gardening. If not any of these things, at least stay connected with people. You receive a lot of support and care from others. You give a lot of support and care to others. Now, this is a powerful, effective way of helping others to cope with challenges, helping yourself to cope with challenges. So, spending time with supportive family and friends can bring a sense of comfort and stability. In fact, talking out our concerns, thoughts, feelings with others can also help us to find helpful ways of, thinking about how to deal with these stressful situations. We know that it is very hard to connect during these times, and especially if you are living alone, if you are in a far-off city, such times, social connection through technology, through teleconferencing, through your Zoom, WhatsApp call, there are so many ways. By maintaining this social connect, you are able to overcome your boredom, you are able to overcome your stress. And remember that physical distancing does not necessarily mean social disconnection. There are many ways we can use technology and stay connected and both give and receive support even from remote quarters. We could call, we could text, we could video chat with family, with friends, have, share a quick recipe. In fact, sometimes you can even cook food for your neighbor, your friends, start a virtual book, schedule your workout together with friends. Today you can see dance classes taking place, being at virtual corners. Today you could have, or you see, online workshops and discussions and seminars and peer forums in which you could participate. Contribute. It is very, very important that you must contribute something from yourself even during this kind of crisis. Show care towards families, friends, vulnerable people in the community, the old, the sick, in whatever forms, whatever way, at a distance. So it's important that you give a thought for them. It can foster, if not anything, a sense of hope, purpose, and meaning to your life. You could, as I told you, cook and pack and deliver a meal to someone who is in need. Donate to a cause. Send someone a caring message, a message of encouragement, a message of hope, a message of building confidence in the individual, a form of an affirmation that one will be out of crisis. These are things that we need to keep doing, keep things in perspective. In a situation that's uncertain, it's natural to have many what if questions. It keeps coming in our minds. Now, in the absence of information, our anxious mind will often fill lots of blanks and worst case situation scenarios come into our mind. This will leave us feeling very helpless, tense, and very vulnerable to bad thoughts. Now, I would call all of your attention, all the participants, I wish to call your attention. I want you all to please have a paper and pen with you now, right now. Please have a paper and pen with you right now, for I have some questions for you. I want you to ask yourself to shift your thinking from catastrophizing, yourself and thinking from a more helpful mindset. Now, the questions that I pose to you, I want you to all write down this question, please. Now, the question that I'm posing, please write down. What are the things within my control? Please write down, all of you. What are the things within my control? What strategies? Next question. What strategies have helped me cope with challenging situations, in the past, that will serve me well, during this time. Put a question mark.
Madam, can you repeat me once again?
Yeah, I will repeat it. Now you take the third question. Leave that there only. I will repeat it later. The third question is, what is a small positive action? What is a small positive or helpful action? Positive or helpful action that I can take now? Question mark. I will repeat the questions now for the benefit of all the participants. There are 3 questions that I've asked you. What are the things within my control? What strategies have helped me cope with challenging situations in the past that will serve me well during this time? The third question, what is a small positive or helpful action that I can take now? Now, these are the 3 questions that I have posed to you. I want you all to spend at least 5 to 7 minutes maximum. Please write short, brief answers to these 3 questions. Short, brief answers to these questions and volunteer to discuss. Please make a note now. You can take 5 to 7 minutes to quickly jot down on these 3 questions. Now, as and when you have done with your, writing, feel free, unmute, and you can speak. Am I visible and both audible to you?
You're audible, but you're not visible. Your
Not
video
visible.
is off.
1 second, something went off. I don't know.
Camera is off.
Okay, 1 second. Yeah.
Yes,
Is it
yes.
fine?
Yeah, no visible, no visible.
Yeah. Okay. Now, before actually starting the discussion, I just want to share one thing with the participants. I'm sure, I mean, most of you, absolutely no issues at all. You are all stationed pretty clearly in one place, and then, we are having a wonderful interaction. But there are some participants within the group who tend to, move around with the mobile, and, this can be very, very distractive both to the speaker as well as the other audience, who are here. So try to be as stationed as possible. That will be of great help, because it helps us to focus and concentrate. Otherwise, the background keeps changing because you're moving your mobile all the time. It can be very, very disturbing. Okay, now let's go to the questions that I have posed. Now, whoever wishes to can unmute. Please tell us your name, introduce yourself, tell us your name, and then please answer these 3 questions very, very briefly. It shouldn't take too much time.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes. Your name, please. Okay, Shruti. Yeah, Shruti.
Yeah, ma'am. Shall I proceed with the
Please,
answer?
please. Yeah.
For the first question, what are the things within my control?
Okay.
Time and mind, ma'am. My answer is time and mind. Coming
Okay.
to the
Time and mind.
second question, what strategies have helped me to cope up with the challenges? For that answer is food habits, good food habits, strong mindset, positive attitude,
Okay.
controlling capacity. Neglect the things that we can't control. Neglect
Okay.
the things that we can't control. Next, coming to the third question, the answer is I would like to have a positive attitude because positive attitude is everything. That's it, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you for giving me
Wonderful,
the
Shruti. Wonderful, Shruti. So your 3 strategies were, please come again with the 3 strategies.
ma'am, food habits, good food habits,
Okay.
strong mindset,
Okay.
positive attitude,
Okay. Wonderful.
control capacity, and neglect the things that we
So
can't control.
so you believe in self-regulation. That is what you're trying to say. Okay. Wonderful, Shruti. Anybody else, please? I want more and more number of participants to feel free. First, you just jump in, say your name, and then start off.
Hello, madam.
Yes, sir.
The first question,
Yeah.
what are the things within my control for that? Mindset,
Okay.
work ethic,
Wonderful.
the way you treat others,
Wonderful.
language,
Okay.
and wellness.
Perfect. Okay. Very nice. Good introspection. Things that are within your control. Absolutely. Then, sir, strategies.
I am not a plan, madam. Just I will.
Oh, okay. This is the first one only you are still attempting. Please,
Yes,
please. Let us give a chance for others, please.
Okay.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Myself Jagdisha from Chikmagalur.
Okay.
The answer to the first question is my mind,
Okay.
and flexibility to adjust all the situation.
Wonderful.
Second,
Wonderful.
thank you. Second question, the strategies are only positive attitude and control over the mind.
Beautiful.
Third question, madam.
Yes, sir.
First one is, as our former president told, APJ Abdul Kalam, do your duty, that is
Yeah. Yes.
do your duty, that is beauty. Second one is, hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
That is right. Now, since you are saying hope for the best, prepare for the worst.
Yes,
Okay. Can I ask you one question?
Yes, madam.
Have you at any point of time
Yes.
overestimated the likelihood of the worst case scenario?
No, madam. No, so far.
Okay, good. No, but because if that is there, then you are too stressed. If you have a tendency to overestimate, you know, ನಾನು ಸತ್ತೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ನಾನು ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರೋದು, ಅಯ್ಯೋ ಕೋವಿಡ್ ಬದುಕ್ತೀನೋ ಇಲ್ವೋ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾಮಿನಿ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ, ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀನಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂಥರ there is a lot of panic, anxiety, stress. This could be happening. We may actually be overestimating the likelihood of that worst case scenario. ಅಲ್ವಾ? ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಸಲ that is can cause stress. ವಂಡರ್ಫುಲ್. ನಾನು ಮಧ್ಯಾಹ್ನ ಇವತ್ತು ಇಮೋಷನಲ್ ಇಂಟೆಲಿಜೆನ್ಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ, where it's nice to know that people who are so balanced are here. Thank you.
Thank you, madam.
Anybody else, please?
Madam, Dr. Munventappa.
ಹೇಳಿ sir.
For first question, the honesty, sincerity, and truth is very important in the mindset.
No, honesty, sincerity, and truth are traits of an individual. I am not asking about the traits of an individual. I am asking about what are the things, the actions that are well within your control. What are those acts that can be well within your control? In a situation of pandemic.
Actually, it is through meditation. Yeah, madam. In this situation, there is also required the courageousness.
Okay, that is accepted.
Courageousness. ಧೈರ್ಯ ಬೇಕು.
ಹಾ.
ಧೈರ್ಯ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಈ ಸಿಚುವೇಶನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಹೊರಟೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಮೇಡಮ್.
Yeah, next.
ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ
Then
COVID-19.
you need to have
Yes,
courage. Accepted. Then
Yes.
next question. What are the strategies that has helped you cope with challenging situations?
Hello.
ಹೇಳಿ ಕೇಳಿಸುತ್ತೆ.
Hello.
Yes, can hear.
Hello.
I can hear you.
Hello, madam. I am not hearing. Hello. 1 minute.
One second. Are you able to hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Ma'am, you're audible.
Okay, go on, madam. You please go on until such time.
Okay, things that are in my mind control, words that I speak, my anger, and the thoughts that I can have.
Yes.
And
Like you said.
strategies that has helped me to cope up